To the Orville Planning Commission meeting, Historical Advisory Committee meeting of February 27th, 2025. Please call roll.
Commissioner Zilich.
Here.
I note Commissioner Smith as absent. Commissioner Jensen.
Here.
Commissioner Jenkins.
Here.
Commissioner Sheard.
Here.
Commissioner Arasi.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Do we have anyone here that wishes to speak on a non-agenda item?
I have no cards.
Thank you. We will open the public hearing. Presentation for item 1, please.
Good evening. Am I on? I'm on. Right? Yep. Good evening, Commissioners, and Chair Jenkins. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. As our clerk loads up the screen, we are going to talk about the fun fishery tonight. It is a use permit UP 2504. So the existing location that this store wants to utilize is the Asian Market, and so it will be in a corner of the Asian Market, which is at 1700 Feather River Boulevard, which is just north of the intersection of Mitchell and Feather River Boulevard, not that far from City Hall. Okay, so this is just an imposed image of their location and what their sign will look like above it, and so it'll be a completely separate entrance. That looks weird. Sorry, the software didn't, translate 100%. Okay, so the fun fishery, what is it? Our code classifies it as a pet store because it will sell live fish. Some of the live fish, however, that are being sold at this place are for aquaculture. And the applicant is here and he can speak more about that process if you are interested. But these are the fish that will be stocked are fish that will either be for human consumption or for the stocking of like lakes and ponds and state waterways. And so the fish that will be sold are not aquarium fish. We're talking about bass and carp and trout. And so the applicant was kind enough. It is a separate supplemental, but what I do have as part of your packet is a list of the main, the most common species that are sold, and a brief description of like how the fish are cared for, how the tanks are stocked, how they're aerated. And so that is for you to peruse as well. On the screen right now before you is a floor plan of the fun fishery. And so the main entrance, which we saw, is in the same building as the Asian Market, but just directly to the north of it. So you'll go inside, and there'll be a bunch. All those little squares are 4x4 tanks, aquariums that can house the fish. And then in the back room, there'll be larger tanks. Those are 4x8 feet for housing of the fish. And then it's an existing entryway, but you can go outside, and you can see that big circle to the right there on the north side of the property. That is going to be an outside tank, and that tank will have fish. It will be stocked, and the store owner, the applicant, uses that tank to educate people about aquaculture, aquaponics, and also just about fishing and getting people excited about options with fishing. And so we do have one condition of approval specifically relating to that outdoor tank, and the applicant is aware of it, and he is okay with that condition. And that condition is that it has to be covered. It doesn't, and that could be with like a net or a screen. We just don't want birds fishing there as well. And so that is one condition of approval we are requesting is for that outdoor tank. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Okay, so again, this is an aquaculture. The applicant in his letter states it. It's more of a nursery, if you think about it, right? Like, this isn't a place you go to buy tropical guppies for your fish tank. This is where you would go to buy like a bulk fish for your outdoor pond. And so our code would classify it as a pet store, which is why I've got pet store in there. but again, this is more of a aquaculture nursery. Besides the fish, they'll also be selling supplies related to aquaculture. And then they also will have events and trainings and education on fishing and on aquaculture. And so it's going to have a nice whole holistic component to it. Next slide, please. And so that concludes my staff report. I do have motions on the screen for you, and that is that we conduct the public hearing, that you adopt the CEQA notice of exemption as the appropriate environmental review, you approve the use permit with the recommended findings, and you adopt the associated resolution. And thank you very much, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to do a presentation or just answer questions if they're asked?
Yeah, I can answer questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this?
I have no cards submitted, sir.
Thank you. Well, we will limit discussion between commissioners and staff. Questions, comments?
Well, I do want to hear about it. I'm excited about it. I think it sounds wonderful. As someone who has a pond that does not know what to do, but I didn't know, this sounds almost like it's more for aquaponics, not for like a backyard pond that you would not be having fish in that you would eat. Do I have that wrong?
We
Do you
might
mind
need you
saying
to-
a little something?
It's being taped, so to get on the tape, you have to be on the microphone.
So the fishes that we have is for backyard ponds or aquaponics systems. As the demand is starting to grow, people is more wanting to grow their own food at the backyard, and more people is focusing on aquaponic systems because it grows. It uses fish waste to grow organic foods, and plus they can harvest the fish when the fish outgrows the tanks, and then they can restart the whole process again. So the fishes that we carry is specifically for starting as small as an aquaponic at the backyard to a small backyard pond or a large pond, all the way to a lake or state waters, if like fishing events would require fishes for us to stock it for their fishing events, or if the Department of Fish and Wildlife needs some fish to stock it, and then we do stock it. We work with them too.
Wonderful. And then you have classes that you're gonna teach, or?
So the tank outside is more of like a fishing tank for customers that I have a lot of customers in the past that was looking to take their kids to fish instead of coming out to pick out the fish and then take it home and cook it. They want their kids to actually have fun to catch dinner tonight.
How fun.
And then, so the tank outside is available during open hours for customers to bring in their kids, or just a couple, or just one person to come out and then have a chance to catch a fish and then bring it home and cook it. Also, that pond would also serve for training customers, giving education to tell the public that how to start an aquaponic system, how to keep the fishes alive, and what's best to do all that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments for the applicant?
I just had a quick question on like such as the koi and such. You're planning on having large ones? I mean, you'll be able to purchase full-size koi and,
Yes, so we will be providing fingerlings all the way to jumbo size. So fingerling is pretty much starting at 1 inch, and then we will have all sizes available at the location. Where if you need like 1,000 fish of one species to stock for a pond or a lake, we will have that. If customers want something that, say if they have a birthday event going on at their backyard tonight, and then they want some like 50 of the big channel catfish that they need to put into their pond so that the family can enjoy fishing and barbecuing by the side of their pond, that is possible too. So we carry all sizes of fish.
May I actually ask the applicant a question?
Yes.
So, Ka, can you go into what you had told me at the store about how you will keep, like how many mosquitoes a single mosquito fish can eat and how that relates to keeping the pond clear?
So the outdoor pond, for us to help keep the mosquitoes from reproducing in our tank outdoor, we will be stocking mosquito fish in the tank. Mosquito fish, one female can eat up to 500 mosquito larvae per day.
Wow.
So it's nearly impossible for mosquito to reproduce in our outdoor tanks.
Well, I'm a definite fan for that.
I want to buy that fish. Oh, I see. I turned the page. It's there.
Yes, there's a fish there.
Okay, so I have some questions. So just to clarify, we're talking about doing this in the C2 zone, right?
That is correct.
So, and just looking at the, the planning and legality going toward this. And I'm sorry that I didn't do my research before the meeting. Just ran out of time. But actually, before I ask this question, let me ask another question. Does the use permit that we're proposing to approve here tonight depend on their classification as a retail fish or pet store, or what?
That is a great question, and it is a little confusing. Our regulations for pet stores aren't very specific. It just says you have to follow the animal keeping rules, and it involves the sale of live animals. And so that is what we decided would be the best classification for him. And the approval process is with the use permit.
Okay. Is agriculture, forestry, fishing uses not allowed in C2? What would be our guidance on something like that?
Excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied. We don't have a land use that's classified like that, and so it was a creative fit.
Okay. I mean, we have uses that are allowed or not allowed or allowed on a use permit at different zones, but we have not specified whether or not anything in NAICS Code 11, agricultural, forestry, or fishing is allowed in a C2 zone. We have
Not versus our
specified
table
that.
of use as a by right, whereas pet store, which is again somewhat vague in our code, but just defines the sale of live animals, is a use permit in all zones.
Okay.
That it would be allowed in, rather. You can't have it like in a residential zone.
All right. I mean, I imagine that if we had it, that a use permit would probably be necessary if it was agriculture, forestry, fishing, if we had that designation, because that's what this business is as an aquaculture.
That is something that staff went back and forth
fish
on was,
production.
is agriculture versus, pet store. And we just decided overall this was going to be a better fit because like as if you look at the floor plan, the majority of the floor space is for the keeping of fish.
Yeah. So if they were classified as aquaculture under agriculture, forestry, and fishing, they would need a use permit anyway?
I would say yes.
Okay.
And a lot of times a use permit isn't to stop or hinder development. It's to help facilitate it, to make sure that the use coming in is a good neighbor and is an appropriate fit.
Yeah,
And we get
exactly.
the opportunity to put conditions of approval on, such as, making sure like the outdoor tank is wow, my brain just.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. I mean, I looked at I read the staff report. I looked at what you're doing. It didn't seem like it was anything that was going to be not a fit for the location that it was proposed at, and I didn't
Yeah.
have a problem with it. I just see if I could
Talk
you out of having.
It's actually a
use
really good
permit,
spot
but-
for it because the structure is already existing and it's not being utilized. So it's actually it may look small on the site plan there on the floor plan, but it's actually a large area. And I went out there twice and I looked at it, and I really think that even with the quantity of tanks that the applicant is proposing, that the size is appropriate.
Okay. And my final question's now moot, so I'm good.
All right.
Any more questions, comments?
Just a quick question. What's the minimum amount of fish that you plan on selling? I mean, can somebody come in and just buy one fish, or are you planning on selling in bulk?
That's the reason why I started this business, and the reason why I'm choosing to open this business is because customers are having a very hard time to purchase these fish directly from farms. I will be working with a lot of farms throughout the state to get the fishes into this place to distribute out to the customers. So I will be a retail and wholesale. I can sell just one fish for you, or I can sell as many fish as you need.
Okay, and the intention is to always sell live fish, right? You're not
Yes.
going to be serving, you're not going to be,
Yes,
Serving
so
fish
the
as food,
intention is
basically.
for live fish, or if you caught a fish from the outdoor tank, the Fish and Games regulation is if the customer catch it out there, they have to take it home dead, for eating only. But other than that, if they're buying the fishes that is stocked in the indoor tanks, they can take it home live in a bag to stock it at their tanks at home or in the ponds.
okay, thank you, that's all I was asking.
Any more questions, comments, or we're open for motion?
I will put that right back up for you.
Open for a motion?
I will move to adopt the notice of exemption, to approve use permit UP 2504, and adopt a resolution 2025-03.
I
I'll
will second it.
Oh, okay, you second.
Go ahead. I defer to Natalie.
Great.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
when are you
The
gonna
seats got
open?
Smith.
We're
I'm
low-
sorry.
we're low
The
on
seats
stuff.
got
Planning
switched.
to open as soon as possible, so like within
Motion
1 or 2 months
passes.
from now.
Oh, wow, awesome.
Glenn,
Looking
I will get
forward
yours
to it.
taken.
I live close,
Don't worry,
so
I'll get it
I'll
taken
be
care
over
of.
there.
All right.
I have
I'll
a
get
nice
it taken
big
care of.
pond. I gotta get some fish in it.
Do I need to hit it again?
Nope. I got that.
Thank
Motion
you.
passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next item that we have, this is for the art and public spaces.
Is your mic on?
Thank
Here
you.
we go. There it is.
All right, on January 14th, the staff took to the Art Commission a request to, we issued a NOFA, and that we had for art pieces using the Development Impact Fund fees. So we had two responses, and one of those is before you tonight. It's in the downtown business district, which requires planning approval. So we had planned to take it to the council meeting last week, but then we learned that actually it has to come here first if it's in the downtown business district. So the location is at 1447 Huntoon. It's owned by Erin Lackey, who is here if you have any questions for her. And it's a mural to be painted on the front of her building. And there it is on the screen up there. So the muralist is Jake, sorry, Jadick? Wait, shoot. Jedrick? Thank you, Spear. Yeah. And he's done some other murals in the downtown area also. So this one here is meant to honor the wildflowers that we have here every year. And the total is $14,100. If approved tonight, this will go to the council on the meeting, for the meeting of 3/18.
Thank you. Are there any other presentations on this, or do we need to, there's no public comment on this, correct? It's not public hearing anymore?
I have one question, sorry. The $14,000, is that coming from the art
Development
commission?
impact fee.
So it just has to get approved by city council, it's not coming from the general fund or anything like
No, no,
that?
yeah, it's from the Art and Public Spaces Fund, Development Impact Fees, and then it has to be approved by the council. But normally, art pieces don't need to come in front of Planning Commission, but because it's in the downtown area, our code does require that it come here first.
Do you want to say anything, Erin?
Yes, I mean, if
You're welcome to if you'd like to say
Aaron,
something.
great photographer. If you need a great photographer, great downtown business.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. My name is Erin Lackey. A little bit about me. My husband and I were born and raised here in Orville. Been married for 20 years. We have 3 kids, Thermalito School and then Orville High School now. So I graduated LP. My husband graduated Orville. I've always been involved in the arts. So I went to band. We were both in the band together. And then I learned art in Central Middle School. All of those things. And now I'm a photographer and I create large art pieces for my clients. I help decorate their homes down in my studio. And I'm also on the Downtown Orville Business Association, one of the board members there. And one of the things that was just really inspiring to me when we purchased this building was it's a giant blank slate. And we have a lot of murals downtown, which I love. However, I love color and I love highlighting things that may not be highlighted normally in our town. And we have a huge wildflower festival every year in April. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to have something that highlighted this area? I mean, we already have people from all over the state, from the nation actually, that come to I know it can be a hot topic in Explore Butte County, but that come all over. And it really is a fantastic just site that we have. And I thought, man, wouldn't that be cool to have something that highlighted that? So this was kind of birthed out of that. And that is a mock-up. It's not the final you know how mock-ups work, but I would just love to see that in downtown. I think it would be amazing. It would be a spot. I think it's right across, if any of you play Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm. You're
Okay.
right across from that. You're right.
There's a lot of Pokestops right there next to that BCOE park. I was like, man, this could be a Pokestop. It could be a lot of historical sites are made into a Pokestop. Get a lot of traffic down there. People could take pictures, post selfies, really highlight Orville and get people looking at us. So I just think that's really cool.
And I might add that when this was presented to the Art Commission, the artist did walk us through the process. So he would paint it, and they would coat it with something that preserves the art for longer, the paint, and then he would coat it again with a graffiti proof coating.
Nice.
Awesome. That's why the price tag, then I was wondering about that, yeah.
Yeah.
That anti-graffiti coating is not cheap.
And the artist, actually, if you've seen some of his work, he did the Love mural in Chico. He's done the Calskate mural in front of Calskate. He just installed at Sierra Avenue Middle School their Thunderbird, or at Sierra Avenue Elementary School, their logo. And then also they have some butterfly wings. And then at Nelson Avenue School, they have the Roars. He installed the Roars mural, which the kids love out there. So he's a really fantastic artist. He uses spray paint. It's gorgeous work if you get a chance to look him up.
Thank you. Do we have questions, comments?
I only had one real quick question, and I'm sure from your passion and from what you were already saying with the local wildflowers, all the flowers that are on here are represented locally, correct?
As far as I know, I am going to trust the artist. And if you guys have submissions to make, like, I want to make sure that this one is highlight. I mean, of course, the poppies, and then definitely the ones on Table Mountain. I don't know names of the agriculture
We want you to have the scientific
of the horticulture.
No.
What is the right
I
word?
just wanted to make sure that what they see on the building
Yes.
is basically what they're going to see when they're walking around.
Yes,
We can ask Wade Atterbury to give us suggestions.
Yeah, I am open. Again, as an artist myself, I love to give artists creative freedom, but also understanding that we don't want it to be something that does not represent our downtown in Orville, and I don't want it to be something that is not, I don't know what the word is, cohesive with the buildings downtown.
I did have an ask, and I already have actually called her to kind of preview my ask. So I love this, of course. I love an old building being repurposed with new life and new art. But my ask is something along the bottom somewhere that would be appropriate, that would say like building established and the year the building was established, or maybe the name of the building, which I'm sure Daniel could help us and I could even look that up, but a touchstone to the history
I love it.
would be what I would want to ask for. because I think that's really unique to have something so new and beautiful, but yet kind of just a remembrance of, wow, this building's been here a long time.
You know, just to touch on that, I 100% agree, because many of the murals we have downtown are actually painted in an older style fashion.
Yes.
So without encroaching upon the artist's creativity and on their work, if it could be done in such a way that would be more historic, with the same colors and the flowers and everything that you want, but just done in a more historic fashion, you know, just to keep it with the sense of the town that we have, that's all.
Was that the Pacific Bell Building, or was that?
No,
was that
that's next to it.
It was,
Yeah, what did Daniel say on the
it was
tour?
a law office. Oh, I have their books. I kept like 5 of them.
And I wonder when it was built. I can look that up. But I was not recommending that we change the art at all. I just thought something on the bottom that, or somewhere that said the building was established 1902 or whatever the name of the building. Like I know where Franklin and Company is, it used to say the Gem Saloon, or just something that kind of harkens back to the history.
I love the idea of communicating our history to people
Yeah.
who are coming and visiting. Yeah, the only shame on this is that it's between 2 trees. You're not going to see it as you're driving by. It's more of a pedestrian thing, but that's okay. You know, I still love art in our downtown. I love the color, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
The trees could be trimmed.
That's what I was going to say. We could talk
Well,
to Wade.
but-
The trees.
We know the tree guy.
Now, I'm on the board of the State Theater, where we put together that big old marquee, and we asked the city to cut down
Yeah.
a tree in front of it so that
Yes.
anybody could see it. I'm not proposing that here.
Yeah, but I do like the trees, but they could be trimmed so that we could see.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Does this item need a motion or a consensus, or what do we need for this?
It does need approval from the Planning Commission.
Yes, so we will need a formal motion.
Okay,
Are we ready to do it?
go ahead.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve item 2, this beautiful mural in downtown, with the recommendation that we have something appropriately written to honor the building. Give it a tiny thing of the history.
I'll second that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
We're excited.
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously.
We will move on to commissioner reports. Do we have anything from the commissioners?
Like our Historic Preservation Award?
That will,
that-
That's probably the
Or is that staff
historic
report?
preservation.
that'll be the Historical Advisory
Oh,
Commission
sorry.
reports. But if you sounds like that'll be what's up now.
So we're doing the second year of our Historical Preservation Award. And then you have till June to put in a building that you want to recommend. And it's any building in Oroville that meets the criteria that is in this little pamphlet. So hopefully, I noticed these weren't in the lobby at City Hall when I was here today. They
Yeah,
need to be.
I'm made a bunch today.
Did
and I'm
you?
gonna get them
Thank
out.
you.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Thank
wait
you.
till we could officially open
Okay.
it and get them all out there with
Okay.
the applications.
And the goal would be, we had 2 recipients last year. I think they'd be willing to open their homes up. And if we had 2 more this year, or whatever we could do, it would be great if we had 5. And that way we could draw more people and they could go on the tour. We had people from Chico and they loved it. So just want to keep building on that.
Yeah. That's good.
That's all.
Would you like to shorten the time that the application period is open? It's open.
I don't know what's best.
It's
What
open
is
for
the,
3 months. 2
is that
months.
too long? I mean, I don't know what
2 months
is-
might be a good amount of time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we presented this at State of the City last year, didn't we?
And we're not going to do that this year because it was too loud and no one could hear what I said about the buildings.
Perfect. And I just wanted to let you know on that, Natalie, I'll probably touch base with you tomorrow. I have a meeting with the mayor and Brian to go over logistics and how we can combat that this year.
Yeah, because that was. Okay, because then I would want to announce it at the State of the City, but I want the audience to hear what we're
Well, you
saying.
need a louder sound system.
We needed well-behaved children. So I'm open to whatever you want to do. I just want to do it again, but whatever you think is best. I mean, announcing it at the State of the City is nice, especially if the audience can hear. It's really a nice honor for the people.
that we continue.
Okay. Okay, well then,
we're working on the issue
okay,
last year with State of the City. Working on
okay. Then when's the State of the City?
I can let you know. We have
Okay.
that scheduled for April 29th, tentatively. We have to confirm that date, but that's what it typically would fall on.
Well,
So then our deadline would be
be
a week
not
before
shorter than
that?
June.
Yes.
Yeah. Sooner
Okay,
than June.
then let's do that. If we can have a quiet State of the City, that would be wonderful.
Wait a second. April 29th? So what would be a good day for the closing date of the,
Who is on this committee with me? Because Carl was on it. Who?
Danny or Daniel.
Yeah, I don't
And
know, I would need, can we just decide here? Why can't, can we just decide here at a meeting? Because we're the Historic Advisory Committee?
Kayla, does it have, I mean, you could just decide, you could decide next month if you want to, and we can agendize it, and then, because we're not going to have, applications back for another, I mean, until after the next meeting.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So we essentially have 2 months, right? That's what we're looking at, to April 29th?
Well, no. Right.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, but I'm just saying it's a
Well, no,
little
it will
short
be
from right
released
now.
on Friday. It'll be released on Friday. That doesn't require a planning commission decision, but but choosing the awardees will have to be,
Yeah, before we met in the fireside room,
and did
and I can't, so I guess I'm just wondering who's going to do that with me?
I'd be happy to be a member.
Okay, should we just have an official committee that's like under this committee?
yeah, so like an ad hoc committee of the committee.
Just for this award?
yeah.
And then you can, right, and then you can choose and just forward that. If
Yes.
the planning commission, I mean, we can't make an official vote on how we're doing this tonight because it's not agendized, but we could solidify that next month. And then if that works out, if you all agree to it next month, then we can have that happen and you can have your ad hoc committee do the choosing.
Okay,
Please also do keep in mind at the commission's discretion, you can have a special meeting with 24-hour notice if there's a date that works for all of you beforehand that's needed.
Well, there is a scheduled planning commission meeting on April 24th, which is prior to April 29th, so.
we could do that, then we don't have to have an extra meeting.
Do you want to have time, though, for the person to be able to put that in their schedule?
Also, I typically do get a plaque engraved.
Yeah.
Noel does.
Yes, the plaque.
Yeah.
Did we give them the plaque that night?
Yes.
Oh, we
right.
gave them
No,
an
we gave them a
award. Yeah,
certificate. We didn't have the plaques
There
back
was a
yet.
viewing.
Yeah.
What?
And
There
then
was
we
a viewing
did,
of the homes, right, where the plaque was given? Is that when it was?
That was in October.
Okay.
So that's how that happens. We want to have where it's open house in October when the plaque is hung. So we don't need the plaque to honor them. We
Okay.
just need a certificate. And then you're sending out the sponsorship letters? Okay.
yes.
I feel like the 24th is too short of notice. So I feel like we should just, whoever wants to be on that committee, does it matter how many? Like, we don't have to worry about a quorum or any weird thing, right?
Well, you
Like
don't,
this, or-
yeah, I think,
It just cannot be a majority of the commission.
because then we have to notice it.
Okay, so just if there's
Then a
3 of
quorum.
us.
If you want to stay light and just be able,
In fact, you need less numbers of the commissioners than the public. So if there's going to be 2 of you, you'd probably need, what, 4, I'm thinking?
At least 3, but I mean,
at least
optics is
3, but
important
4 is
and
an
four
alternate,
is,
yeah.
4 is great.
So
So if
you
there-
2 would have to find 4 other people, not on the commission.
There's 2 other people that might be interested in selecting or discussing.
There you go. But this award or recognition is something that the Historic Advisory Committee gives. That was the intention, that it is something, because we don't do a lot on our historic advisory side. And so this is a way for us to honor that. So then I don't understand why I would have to have non-planning commission members.
Well, you're having Daniel and you're having Noel, so there's two non.
That's what I was saying. We count Noel?
Yeah.
Okay, you can count
Yeah.
staff. And then can we have Warren and myself?
Sure.
Well, didn't you say that they need to have four? One more person, non-commissioner. Warren's wife.
I'm sure that I can get someone from somewhere, the ODBA or Cindy can come.
I cannot say the same thing as Warren did about his wife because my wife is in attendance.
Yeah, she'll be like, yeah. You can come.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna love that.
Okay, we just
She would
need,
love something like that.
okay,
Well, that
cool.
doesn't have to be settled tonight though
Okay.
either because we're going to meet again
In
at
March.
the end of March.
Okay,
And then you can figure all that out and
Okay.
then you can decide if you want to have a special meeting also,
Okay.
like as Wes had suggested.
okay.
So we'll we'll agendize this for the next March meeting
Mm-hmm.
to determine how we do the rest of this.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie.
Staff reports.
So one quick question. So the deadline for applications for this award would be when?
15th of April? No, that's like tax day, huh?
Yes.
Be the day of the March Planning Commission meeting, maybe?
27th?
So it gives us 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For this.
Looks like you're gonna have to reprint some flyers.
Yeah, so that, well, that's, so we're gonna change that.
Okay.
No, we're gonna do, no.
So what is it?
So should we do the March? Okay, we just have to get the word out. And you're
Yeah.
putting it on the Facebook
yeah.
page, and then basically, if you think of buildings that you want, it, I mean, that's what our jobs are.
Maybe we do April 15th.
Okay,
Yeah,
and then people will remember the deadline because it's tax day.
exactly.
Okay,
Well, I mean, you can pick any other day that week also if you don't want to have it be on tax
but April
day.
15th, we might as well.
Okay.
If you're getting a refund, it doesn't matter, but, okay. Okay, April 15th then is our deadline.
Okay.
Because I do want to announce this at the ODBA meeting, so I guess I want to get copies of this flyer.
Yeah, I'll redo
And all of
everything and I'll
this.
get it to you.
Okay.
The
Okay,
flyer itself is fine. It doesn't have any dates on it.
Right.
But everything else, I'll
Right.
adjust the dates, so.
okay. Okay, wonderful.
And
So
then
I'll
we'll get it
come back
on
to you.
Facebook and I
Yeah.
can put it in the paper and
Yeah.
get it out there.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Staff report?
Christine, you want to go?
Well, yes, I do. Okay, so I have a couple things to tell you guys about. One is we are in the process of, some of you guys already know this, and some of you guys have already formed a committee, but we are in the process of reviewing our zoning ordinance, which is Title 17 of the OMC. And just some of the changes are going to be just to kind of do some cleanups, but we're also interested in processes that will make development easier to happen and a little bit more streamlined. And so all those changes will come before you guys, before they would go to city council. So that'll be happening over the next few months. We'll start that process. We're also.
Christina, just quickly, is this what you guys are doing?
No,
You're not, okay.
Not to start with.
this sounds like this is staff going through the zoning.
It is.
Yes, and we're starting with, ours is different.
Ours is starting
They're
with.
complementary.
Right.
They're complementary, yeah.
They are. Everything is intertwined with the codes. It's my understanding we're starting with applying for a small business license and moving through that process and getting into building codes, requirements, occupancy, that kind of thing. But all that's going to start tying together with the rest of the codes and with zoning and with, it's going to get very convoluted. But we're starting with the very basic, somebody wants to open a business in Orville, where do they go? What do they pay? What do they have to file? What do they have to, and all the steps. That's kind of where we're starting. And then it's going to go from there. We'll go, eventually we'll be into the Title 17. It's going to be a very long process.
So I
to get
think,
through.
Christina, maybe we should wait.
No, ours is more
Cleanup.
cleanup. We've
Yeah,
noticed some
that's what I was
gaps
thinking.
and some conflicts and some vagueness that we've come across, yeah.
Well, I guess we can talk about this later. Yeah.
But it's coming.
Yes,
Thank
it is
you.
coming.
And you know what? Like, as you go through business licenses, right? Like, if you want to open a business, where can you go? What's that process? So much of that actually does tie into zoning.
Yes.
And so, yeah,
Exactly.
we're very, it'll be very complimentary to go through these processes together. So
Yep.
I am excited about it all. One of the other things that we're working on is how to facilitate nonprofits who want to apply for permits. Sometimes that could be something as simple as like an event permit. It could be when the YMCA needed assistance with rezoning their properties so that they could sell them. We went through that a few months ago. And so staff has been working on some it's policy, so it wouldn't be like ordinances, but I hope it would be resolution, right? So that our local nonprofits that the city has partnerships with, that we're used to doing business with, just so that we have a policy in place to help with some of those fee waivers if they need it. And so that would, we're going to hopefully get that on the books before the city council as well. And then several months ago, you guys approved a sign code update, also part of Title 17. And that was, a lot of that had to do with the height of like billboards and off-premise signs. And so that, our consultant, Connor, has finished doing all the revisions of that. And so we have that tentatively scheduled March 18th. I have all the stuff, I just need to give it to you. And so that's going to be nice. We'll have that change in place as well. And then we have 2 businesses that have submitted use permits that will be coming before you guys at some point. The first is another pet store. It is called the Exotic Bird Mart. And so that will be 1900 Oro Dam Boulevard. They're going to be hopefully doing a grand opening and hopefully getting all that in place before you guys next month. And then the very last one, it's a worst kept secret. We are getting, a Chick-fil-A has formally submitted a use permit application. We're still in the very first phases of that, going through review, working with Caltrans. The proposed location is next to Maverick Gas, right on Oro Dam by the State Route 70. And so we're all very excited about that. I am in contact with the developers almost daily, and right now it's Caltrans is doing the review for their traffic.
My daughter will be very excited about that.
Yeah.
Well, it does bring up something that, I mean, I'm just going back to reviewing some of our planning documents. I think we had a consultant work on a Feather River Boulevard corridor plan, and all this area was planned for offices at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at development patterns in the area, and this being a major intersection, it's like, this isn't gonna develop as offices. And so I don't know at what point we revisit the transportation plan for this area, but that's something we probably ought to be thinking about doing sometime in the near future.
100%. We definitely need a left-hand turn lane into Maverick on Feather River. That needs to happen, in my opinion.
It is in review.
How big is that parcel for Chick-fil-A?
Right now, it's a several acre parcel because it is still on the same lot as the Maverick. They have not submitted a parcel map to separate those, but the intention is to have the Chick-fil-A be a separate parcel, and I believe it'll be about 1.5 acres.
So no problem with car stacking in their drive-through, right? You're gonna have a long
We are
drive-through.
working with them. We are working with them on that. The northern, so if you think about where the Dutch Bros is and the surf through, there's that long skinny private drive that wraps around. And then we're working with them to ideally have, if there's overflow on the drive through, it wraps around there rather than on Feather River, or our worst case scenario would be on Oro Dam.
Christina spent a lot of time looking at the stacking.
Yeah,
There's a
I've
lot of
been-
congestion on Feather River going into,
They'll be back
Yeah.
by the highway.
So, do you think of Feather River? You guys, Starbucks has that little it's almost like secret entrance, and there's a cute little drive-through sign on Feather River by the hotel. And you know, a lot of residents have been trained, right? Like, okay, I can just cut through there and wind my way through and get into that drive-through lane. We're hoping the same pattern kind of evolves with that private drive that would be north of Chick-fil-A, but wrap around. And then also, we don't want, I have spent some significant time on it. We've been they have been in conversations with us for a few months. It's just, wasn't a formal submittal. But I don't want the stacking lanes to go through Maverick. Partly because, number one, if you think about it, that's where people get gas. And think of in the morning when, you know, you got all your, you know, like the blue collar, you know, you got PG&E people and the highway people, and they're all like getting gas right there, and it's just kind of a mess. And then you also have the semi-truck pumps. But then behind Maverick, you have the,
Got any car washes there, right?
well, the car wash will be there, but directly behind Maverick is that, the way station. And that is a blind turn. And I'm trying to get them to avoid that too. So I actually don't want a dedicated turn for this purpose into Maverick. I want it dedicated to that private drive, just 100 feet up, because I don't want people zooming through that blind corner where the way station is, and I don't want them going through the front where people are zooming in and out with their gas. And so I'm just trying to create a nice, orderly.
It'll be
Chicken
easier to
sandwich
see
line.
Private drive gonna be basically for Chick-fil-A?
No.
Or,
It'll be for anyone, that drive will be for, you know, anybody entering that development. So people who go to Dutch Bros use it, people who go to Surf Through use it. I mean, you can get to Maverick from there. It's all open.
There will be another lot to the north of that too.
There is, and
So-
right now we have no active development plans for this lot to the north. But
It'll be
it
a
would
lot
open
easier
for
to
that.
see once it's brought to you. I mean, she's taken a lot of care to, and worked with them quite a bit on the stacking thing and how do you keep people out of Maverick and off into that street and where they'll come on. So it'll be good.
It sounds like it, and we appreciate the work, because
Definitely.
it is a busy part right there at Feather River. And, because you have what, the AM, PM, and then you have Maverick.
Yeah.
So it does get kind of,
And the other thing that we've
Hairball right
taken
there.
into account is I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but if you're coming north, right? So if you're south of Oroville coming north, you get off on Oro Dam from the 70, right? That, and you turn left onto Oro Dam, and you know there's Oroville in front of you. You can't make a U-turn there. It's illegal to make a U-turn
Right.
there. And what we really are trying to avoid is have people see Chick-fil-A, get off, and then illegal U-turn in, and then cut in through, because we don't want anything to be stacked right there. That is a state route, so, you know, Caltrans is actively reviewing the traffic impact analysis. Once they have their comments in, we'll finish our review on it, but we all of us, Chick-fil-A, Caltrans, and the, you know, city of Oroville, we all want this to be successful, not too stressful. There's always that grace period, right, when you first open, but, yeah.
Talking about stacking, I've been interested to see if somebody's going to go in that drive-through we approved by Little Caesars.
We are too.
We are too,
I
yeah.
want to see how that turns out. Yeah, well, that's why I'm waiting to see how that.
Park car would fit.
I heard it was a sandwich shop. I don't know.
It's gone, we've had a few inquiries in that direction, no formal submittals, not even, semi-formal submittals yet.
I get requests or questions every week about what's going in there. We don't know.
So I have one other item which I forgot to inform Christina about. Last Friday was the close of comment period for a draft environmental impact report for a 3.2 million square foot warehouse project south of Ophir in that vacant industrial land that's there. We are working to address comments. We've received 9 comments on that. It's a very detailed EIR with heavy biological and traffic and everything else in it. We do not have a formal applicant as yet, so this is considered a speculative project. The city fronted the funds to complete this EIR under the assumption that there would eventually be a project there. And if there is a project there, then the owner of the property will reimburse the city for the cost of this EIR. So it's still a speculative project, but at some point in the next 2 months, probably you'll see that, and you'll have a chance to comment on it. And there will be 3 significant and unavoidable impacts. One relating to vehicle miles traveled and the diesel particulate matter that's generated from all the trucks. And the other will be, it escapes me at the moment, but there will be one other one. There's a greenhouse gas impact. The health risk assessment identified 2 homes that were close enough so that at full build out there would be a potential health risk from that. So we have to deal with all of those and work with whoever applies to mitigate as we move forward. So that's coming up.
I have just a couple of things. The project over by the hatchery, we came up with this sort of creative way to help move that along. And so at council meeting, I think it was the last meeting before maybe, the council approved a 10-year deferment of fees. So this, we are hoping that this would work for all development, but it really only works for developments where there's one owner for the whole property, because otherwise we can't secure them on all the single family lots. So we're still looking for ways to maybe to incentivize or to defer fees or something for single family homes. But this is 173 units, and it looks like with this, that project will get to go forward now.
Are you talking about that market rate development that's up on top of the hill right there? Okay.
Townhomes or something.
That would be nice.
They're apartments.
Apartments.
But they're
Yeah.
luxury apartments.
Yes.
Yes, 173 of them. It's a nice project. They have a pool, a clubhouse, pickleball, a dog park, all inside. So it's a nice project. We have at executive committee, last month, we introduced a group that's building a biomass facility here. So they are working on this. It's not coming to you probably for a while yet, but this was introduced to the council, to the executive committee of the council. So this one it's a pretty exciting project. It complements the other one that's coming. They're sort of working together in a collaboration, separate projects, but working in collaboration. So so that's a pretty nice one. And when it all flushes out, it'll be a couple hundred jobs, and they think actually about maybe 500 jobs. So
Great.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. And the last thing is that we started doing with our marketing team, Verdant Marketing, we started doing interviews this week for our promotional videos. And we have the 3 fronts. I think we've already talked about this before, but it's tourism, development, and then kind of like community pride. So we've interviewed some of our industrial leaders and a couple of the mayor and the vice mayor. And we have a couple of our nonprofits, and then we have a couple more interviews to do. Natalie?
I know, March 6th.
Yes.
I've heard 'em.
And so anyway, so that's pretty exciting. I sat in on those today, and
Are they hard? Do I need to prepare?
No, you do not. You're good at this, so you'll be fine. So anyway, so that they're, once they have all these together, then they're going to cut them up, and then they're going to create some 15, 30, and 60-second little things to go out on Facebook, YouTube, our website, and maybe some other locations too. So something that you can pass out to your friends and your communities that you have. And that will be coming soon, so.
I'm trying to get the location. I think they said something about doing it in here, and it's like
We can move
we
it
gotta do it
around.
outside. So I want to find the coolest location downtown
I was told to
with the
do it.
great backdrop.
I was told to do it by the clock.
Yes, the clock, is the clock good? See, we have to,
I have to.
think about it. I have to walk
It's
it.
kind of near there today, and with the cars going by, it might be a
I
little
know.
bit tough,
So
so
maybe Myers is better, but I want to have the buildings.
we'll figure that offline. But we'll find something that works.
Okay.
And then I just had one update for all of you. So as you are aware, I did forward a letter of resignation from Sor Tao, the other commissioner on the Planning Commission. We had an unscheduled vacancy. I did notice that per the MATI Act, it was advertised for 21 days and then it went to executive committee. An applicant was selected at the executive committee.
Yes.
Yes, and it is actually on the agenda for March 4th. So it will be getting published tomorrow.
Great.
I will send the application directly to you. Along with the recommendation, it will be attached the list of other applicants that we have. The executive committee serves to recommend an appointment, not to tell them which one was selected. So as such, we'll include the other ones as well. So I will send all of them to you in an email as soon as I publish tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else?
Bang
We-
me out.
Before 7.
We will adjourn to March 27th, 2025 at 6 PM.
Thank you.